Hello and welcome to the D3 podcast. This is your host, Matt, joined as always by Kevin, John, and Sam. How's it going, boys?
It's good.
Great.
It's good.
How was your week off?
It was
restful.
Yeah.
Rejuvenating.
I mean, all these buyouts got me crazy right now.
Yeah.
You're right. Why don't we get right into the updates? Biggest update that we can have for you guys right now is that Baylor won the NCAA tourney. The madness is finally over. I don't know about you guys. This is pretty surprising to me. I was really pulling for Gonzaga. I was really pulling for Gonzaga. Fuck.
I checked out of the tournament pretty early on, I can say. Yeah, it took one Loyola Chicago unfortunate victory to make me a little less interested this year. So
Are there any players from these two teams that we're actually interested in for the NBA possibly?
Oh yeah.
Sam?
Jalen Suggs. Okay, this kid he's the guy who hit that half-court bank shot in the semifinals. That kid can really ball out. I think he could. I would not be surprised if he becomes a number one pick. I think he has that kind of talent power to do it. I know we all love the Cade Cunningham show, and I think we didn't really see the best performance from him, in the tournament. That's probably the best way to, showcase your skill set. I really liked Mobley. I actually think he could actually sneak into one. It just depends if the Timberwolves get number one pick and then mess it up again, So it really just depends on
I'll never do that, Sam.
which one of these really trash teams mess it up, because we have Houston, Orlando, and Minnesota again. Maybe Minnesota's on a new, turned a new page, but this next draft is going to look pretty. It's going to be really good. I think we're going to have all-around talent the next 2 years, honestly. So
Let's make this 2K20 story mode where the guy doesn't get drafted at all, and he's just a free agent, so that Cade Cunningham doesn't get drafted by anybody, and then the Bulls can just pick him up. That'd be great. Yeah, John. You okay there?
I'm just like so frustrated with the Bulls already. I give this front office I'm trying to give them leeway. It's year one. They're figuring out their direction. They've chosen a direction, and I'll say that off the bat, I don't totally agree with it still, and it's looking a little worse at the moment. But you know what? I just have to acknowledge that maybe they were like, hey, we don't care what happens this year. It's not about this year. It's about getting ready for the next few. And if that works out, then cool. But it really hurts my feelings that we're probably going to have a pretty decent lottery pick that's going to be enjoyed by the Orlando Magic. So
yeah, that is very unfortunate that Florida is taking our wonderful picks. Next up, we want to give some love to the NCAA women's tournament, which was much a little bit more entertaining. Stanford won the title, and Paige, anybody want to give her some high praise?
Yeah, no, this girl straight up balls out. When you see her, you're like, this is the skinniest girl I've ever seen. I don't know how she can even pick up a basketball, but this girl has some real raw talent. I think she could actually play like NCAA men basketball in that sense. And I know it's like a real stretch, but I think she has that kind of skill set. I think she might be like slightly, just below like Sabrina Ionesco, who we all know on this podcast. But she's a freshman. She's the youngest to ever win the John Wooden Award, which is Player of the Year. Yeah. And I just think genuine talent. I think this is just phenomenal talent to see.
Fuck yeah, dude. I want to see more of that, man. That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
What position is she?
I don't know. She's 6'4", so she's kind of like that point guard. She's like that Lonzo position. But she's a true shooter. She scores really well.
All right, kick ass. Another thing about the WNBA, speaking of women's basketball, their jerseys so much better, so much better than ours. What the hell? You know what, Kevin? Did you saw the Chicago jerseys, right? The comparison. Yeah. Just out of curiosity, which one do you think is better?
Tough choice, but I gotta go with the WNBA. Those ones are sick, and the Indiana one is definitely my all-time favorite WNBA jersey. That one is actually legit.
I just want one of those jerseys. I don't want a Bulls jersey. Just give me Chicago Sky. Come on, let's go. I'll go to the fucking games. Let's get it. Another big news in college basketball. We're just going through college basketball at this point in time. Roy Williams to retire from the UNC after 33 years. Davis has taken over, 9-year lead assistant for the team. This is pretty big news. UNC is a huge basketball school. How do we like them for the future, Sam?
If I'm any recruit that already signed up, I want to get out. Another school I'll go to is maybe Duke, but I also losing some rep. We're not seeing any of these big schools in the last tournament. At this point, go to Loyola. They can take down any powerhouse, right, John?
Wow. Yep. Yeah.
John wasn't ready for that smoke, man. He was.
Hey, you had 1 week break.
Hey, but you're right. Yeah. Okay. Look. Yeah. Hey. Look. It's Roy Williams. Hell of a career. One of the most well-respected coaches in college basketball. Never really a guy who received the kind of I feel the hate that Coach K gets and or John Calipari. People are like, Roy Williams, solid dude, great coach. You wish that a guy like this could leave in front of a packed house, have his last game moment like that. But he left on his terms, it sounds like, and what a legacy he left behind. Interested to see how the school looks moving forward.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Next one, we have the full NBA arenas are likely to be open for the next season. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers fucking crossed. With the COVID vaccines coming out, most of it being very, very effective. There might be some slight numbers that are coming out as having symptoms for it, but all these companies never said that they were foolproof. So it's kind of to be expected at this point. But full NBA arena is going to be open. That's going to be amazing. Is this actually very likely to happen, or are we probably going to see it maybe a little bit more down the road? Kevin?
I think it'll be... I hope they do it well, and I hope it's kind of a gradual thing. I don't know if it's a good idea to just out of the gate open the floodgates and say, yep, starting next season right away, full capacity arenas. If the evidence shows that there's not any more COVID out there, or there's very minimal COVID and that's not an issue, then sure, okay. But I would rather them be a little cautious at the beginning and then ramp it up in terms of capacity. But I am very excited to go to an NBA game next season and see fans and have that experience again.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, let's be honest, though, Sam, your home state, Texas, they seem to be doing a fantastic job with COVID, right?
Hey, man, look, we getting our shots out now. Look, the Texas Rangers, they had a full arena, which is the first time in such a long time. Concerning, but I think it's been made very clear that the owners want to get their bag again because they're not getting their money as much as they wanted to. I mean, concessions themselves. I'm kind of excited, Kevin. I know we talked Friday. We were like, yo, when you move here, let's just get season tickets. They're super cheap right now. Let's just snag them and then go to the game. So I'm open to go to it. I think it's hopefully, fingers crossed, that we're able to all be educated and be smart about things and get the vaccine, because you didn't just read a blog post saying that, it affects your fertility rates. Why? I don't know. But, but no, I'm super excited. I think it's going to happen for sure next season. Everything's opening up. And I know LA teams, they said that even for this season, they're opening up arenas again. So that's probably a bad idea, but hey, it's LA. When in LA, party out.
Man, you'll have season tickets to watch the Nuggets. John and I will have season tickets to watch Patrick Williams. I'm super pumped. It'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to get sloshed on $15 Bud Lights at the United Center.
That's the best. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I am hyped. I'm very hyped. I hope, like, as we've all been saying, I really hope that everything is like it's safe. The data says it's good to go. We'll see, and I'm really excited to go to an NBA game. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I guess I'd like to add is that, do you think the level of play is going to deteriorate a little bit in terms of like quality of like field goal percentage? Because I think it actually might impact a lot of these young guys again.
Maybe at the beginning. I think like as the season is starting, I think that will actually be like kind of a big adjustment for people, because it's going to be like, oh, it's just way louder in here. We haven't been playing in these conditions in a year. And so it's like, okay, well, let's see how we adjust to this. I bet, like you said, especially with young guys, it's going to be really strange. It'll be really interesting to see how a lot of these younger guys handle like those kind of high pressure moments with a full like packed house and all these things. So that's true. That'll be probably something to look at. I bet it eventually like regresses back to the mean as the season goes on, but probably a rocky start. I would not be surprised.
All right, boys, we have the top under 25 players, and not like, worst 25 players in the league, but under 25 years old. This is a very interesting list. Sam, you just sent this in the group chat. I just pulled it up. I'm looking at it right now. Luka being number one, yes. Woo! I mean, sure, yeah. Zion number two. Any complaints? No, I wouldn't think so.
Makes sense.
Kevin, what was that face?
Nothing. I'm
okay.
He's number three. He's waiting for number three.
I am waiting for number three.
I was like, boy. All right, we have number 3, LaMelo Ball. Now, I know that John cursed his soul for all eternity. Number 3. Look, I have high hopes for this guy. I don't know about number 3. Does anybody want to hype him up for me?
I'll hype.
Yeah, go for it, John.
Yeah, I'm. I did curse him. That's true. That is on the record as fact. I didn't mean to. Still sorry about it. But look, I'm attaching my wagon to LaMelo fantasy-wise for the next decade. All right, I'm locked into the LaMelo Ball experience. What we saw this guy do as a rookie, literally no one expected from him. I don't think there was a single, I think everyone was surprised that LaMelo was as good as he was. He was already a knockdown shooter from deep, which no one saw coming with his kind of funky looking shot. But unlike his brother, it works. Lonzo's a good shooter now, but LaMelo's immediately a great shooter, and the passing is obviously insane. His size is just so special at that position, and defensively, he has room to grow, but he has the size to be a good. At least a solid defender, it's you saw Luka was such a bad defender, and now he's a really good team defender. He's always in the right spot. He actually tries on defense. He's obviously not going to lock anyone down, but I think that's the kind of thing we can at least expect to see from LaMelo.
Sure.
The sky's kind of the limit for him, and as long as he's healthy, I'll be honest, I think that this is not the craziest thing in the world. It's there probably to elicit reactions like we're about to get. But I just want to say, him being in the top 5, is it a stretch? Maybe. But am I okay with it? Yeah, honestly, yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys, I'm going to try something really quickly. This could either be a very big disaster or it's going to work out just fine. I'm going to just start naming off these players. I want you to stop me if you have a problem with it. I want you to stop me if there's okay, this guy should not be this number, or he should be worse, or he should be better. Okay? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So that was the top 3. Right now we have Donovan Mitchell.
Wait. Does Kevin, did you want to toss, did you want to throw some shade at LaMelo Ball? Or you?
I think my viewpoints have already been established on LaMelo. I don't think he deserves top 3 yet. I think he has the potential to get there to the top 3, but I would put him more around the 6 or 7 spot, which I still think is really good.
Yeah.
But I
It
would
just like we're all kind of thinking of this list the same way, right? Like, because when I think about this list, I think that they're saying like projecting forward.
That's
And
what
not
I
so
was
much
wondering.
like-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
that's
sense.
how I'm viewing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make much more sense for him to be at number 3. So Donovan Mitchell, number 4.
Stop.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm not even going to say this list yet, but in the top 10, Donovan Mitchell is not one of these top 10 players. I think that's kind of blasphemous. I don't even know where the logic is. And like, I don't even say the names yet, but I just don't think Donovan Mitchell I don't think his game style is as unique compared to a lot of these other players. And I think that's pretty harsh on my end, but I generally think that's true. I actually do think Rudy Gobert is actually having more impact on the game than I think Donovan Mitchell. And I think it's a shame to say that because guards do get disrespected, and I love point guards a lot, but I just don't think he plays that role effectively. I think he actually is more play style to Bradley Beal with better defense. So I wouldn't put him in. I wouldn't put him in the top 10, to be honest. And that's harsh.
Wow.
John is in utter disbelief right now, folks.
Yeah, totally disagree, but I love this. I love the Heat.
Just right out of the bunker, just like stop. Like no. All right, we have number 5 as Jason Tatum.
Right.
I might put him as number 4. I would switch him with Donovan Mitchell, honestly. The talent that I've seen from Jason Tatum greatly outweighs the talent that I've seen from Donovan Mitchell personally. Not like any disrespect to Donovan Mitchell, unlike Sam over here, who has so much disrespect for the guy. No, Jason Tatum, he's like the future of the Celtics, unless like, he decides that he wants to better his own life and goes to an organization that is an ass.
And he's only 19.
That's the crazy thing, man. He's only fucking 19. It blows my mind. Number 6 is interesting. De'Aaron Fox. Where are we at with him right now?
I'm good. I'm good with him. I've been on the De'Aaron Fox train. That's
You think
disrespectful.
lower, John?
That's disrespectful, gentlemen. That is disrespectful because he's been on a losing team and he's still been carrying this team phenomenally, and we're getting
Carrying
close.
them to what? The worst defense in NBA history?
Who needs to play defense anymore? Everyone scores 130 points a game. Who needs to play defense anymore?
I love De'Aaron Fox. I do think
Really
he's a
not.
great player. I know, but I think he's a great player. I think that he should be below the next 3 people we're about to name.
I agree that, but I think he's still above Mitchell, in my opinion. I'm just saying.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and say the next 3 players since John mentioned it. There's number 7 as Ben Simmons, number 8 Devin Booker, number 9 Bam Adebayo. So for me personally, I would have, like John said, I would have Ben Simmons above De'Aaron Fox, and I would have Devin Booker above De'Aaron Fox, and then I would have Bam Adebayo above De'Aaron Fox. I love all 3 of these players. They're all fantastic. Devin Booker is finally starting to play in his own style now that he has a competent point guard in Chris Paul. And then you have Ben Simmons, who is basically creating his own style of basketball, and it works somehow. Who would have known? Hashtag Kevin O'Connor and his conspiracy theories of him shooting with with his offhands. And then Bam Adebayo, somebody that John and I have been professing our love to for a good long time. He's just incredible. He's a fantastic player. Guys, do we have any kind of disagreements with this? Do we want to change the numbers around? What are we thinking?
For me, Devin Booker is the question mark here, and not even a knock to him, but I think it's this year especially, like he found his role in that number 2 spot, that shooting guard spot, much more than he did before when he was kind of that leader, that point guard kind of spot. And he's excelling at that role, absolutely. But it seems like, in my mind, like from here, there's not a lot of like growth for him to do. Like he's already really good at that position.
Sure.
And at that, like what he needs to do for that role. Whereas all of these other guys like Ben Simmons, Bam, Tatum, Fox, like they all have so much room to grow even at their positions. And I don't see that in Devin Booker as much anymore, at least after this year. Again, not a knock to him. He's a great player, but I think I think he'll be consistently good instead of the other guys that are on a upwards trajectory.
Where would you put Devin Booker on this list for top 25? Where would you put him?
I'd probably put him more around the 15 to 20 range.
Oh, that's some disrespect, sir.
And it's not meant to be. It's meant to be
It's
that
not meant to be, but it is. But
yeah, it's meant to be the fact that he's already a lot better than a lot of these players, but as kind of a detriment, he doesn't have a lot of improvement to go from here in my mind.
Okay, so can I just ask, like, is mine more disrespectful or Kevin's? I feel like I think they're pretty close in my opinion. Like, I think they're both pretty disrespectful, but I mean, look, Devin Booker had to change his role automatically because Chris Paul, he did to change his position. But what you're saying is that he already peaked in high school, and the man's 24. I mean, that's what's sounding. I don't know if that's what you're trying to say.
Kind of. I mean,
I just think that if you give this guy another 2 years with this same organization, I think this team could be consistently the 2 seed. I really think they can be that good.
Yeah.
Then there might be a little bit of a stretch, based off the health of the Lakers, whatever they are.
Chris Paul has 2 more years left in the NBA.
Bro, we've been saying that for 5 years.
You're right.
That's so true.
I don't know. Maybe. Look, I know we love Ricky Rubio. I know we didn't bring up Ricky Rubio the last 2 episodes, but we got to bring it up now. But Chris Paul is a clear upgrade, right? We have to agree with that. And consistently, year after year after year, he's actually made teams way better. And it just turned out the superstar on that team was the only one having an issue. Otherwise, the team loved Chris Paul. So I wouldn't put Devin Booker down there, but I see your point, though. I can see that he changed his role and he's not ball dominant. So I can kind of see it. But it's a little disrespectful.
Yeah, I was going to say, he still has he still has like a ceiling that he can break through. That ceiling is Klay Thompson, because Klay Thompson is one of the best catch and shoot players in this league. And Devin Booker could pretend maybe get there.
My point is the gap from Devin Booker to Klay Thompson is much smaller than the gap from, let's say, Ben Simmons to what Ben Simmons could be.
Okay.
I think Devin Booker is so much more than a catch and shoot kind of guy. Okay. I think he's such a skilled shot creator, and he has some legitimate point guard skills. He's just not naturally a point guard, and so I think he works well in a role where he's a secondary playmaker in that kind of way.
Sure.
But we've seen it. The guy's kind of a bucket from everywhere. He's not just like a cutting off screens to get to the spot, take a shot, catch a shoot. He's a smart player. He's just great. I think it is disrespectful, Kevin. I think you both really were wilding out. You looked at the 1 and 2 seeds in the Western Conference and said, not enough.
Star on the team. Kevin just bashed on all the team members on the Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah. But that, I get it. I understand the lack of it. Donovan Mitchell, it feels like I think he's clearly having his best season, but it does feel like for the first however many years, it was kind of pretty level, and he wasn't really growing a ton. I think this year he's taken a bit of a leap. Devin Booker, I don't know, man. I think he's great. I think Kevin, I think you're way underrating it, but I'll let it slide.
But other than Devin Booker, are we pretty much same page as far as Ben Simmons, Bam goes? Pretty much.
Yeah,
I would put Devin Booker at 6.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay. The De'Aaron Fox take was a little too hot. I agree with those 3 players. Now, I still think he's De'Aaron Fox. I still pick De'Aaron Fox over SGA in my opinion, but that's a different story. I think they're pretty close in nature. I know you said only these 3 players, but I had to jump to the next one. I think Jaylen Brown is heavily disrespected at 12. That's kind of messed up in my opinion. And I know because compared to last season to this season, it was a big jump, so he must have been rated much lower. But this guy is a big carry for this Boston Celtics team, and I know the theory is based off, in the next 5 years, how they pan out. So I get it, but I think he should be at least. I think he should be above Brandon Ingram. What are we talking about here? Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, 100%. So the next list, next three people is SGA, it's Brandon Ingram and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown should be number 10, in my opinion. In my honest opinion, that's hard too because SGA could be like, oh my, because he's already so good. He's already so goddamn good. He's pretty much the future of OKC at this point if they can hold on to him. But I do believe that Jaylen Brown should be higher up. Do we have anything conflicting? Are we pretty much all the same as far as where these guys are?
I don't think Brandon Ingram should be that high. I think Brandon Ingram's just inconsistent. Like when he's good, he's absolutely an 11 on this list, but he's not always consistently good. So I'd definitely knock him down a handful of spots.
John?
I'm honestly fine with this list between like 10 to 13 at the moment. The weirdest thing, and we don't have to spend like a ton more time on this list, but the weirdest thing to me and kind of like the funniest is that Trae Young is sitting at 16. Not that I even like totally disagree with that. It's just sort of funny how that works out. The guy could do he does so much for that Hawks team, but he's just like such a absolute like nothing on defense, like a negative on defense, that I think it's hard to push him any higher. But
it's kind of crazy that they put 14 at Michael Porter Jr. Like, where did this ranking come from? He played 12 games and they give him the 14th best above Ja Morant and Trae Young, and then below Trae Young is Mikal Bridges. What the heck is happening?
my beef is that Mikal Bridges is above Sabonis, and Sabonis is 18. Like, I think that's maybe it's because Sabonis, the big men on this list, is rude. Jarrett Allen, 23, he should be higher. DeAndre Ayton at 20, I think he should be higher. And Domantas Sabonis at 18, I think Sabonis is top 15. But
I wonder if it was just Bridges like an age thing. Like, because maybe Sabonis is like right at the top end of the age bracket. Maybe they knocked him for that. But I agree, it's weird that he's that low. But yeah.
It's really funny how LaMelo is number 3 and Lonzo is number 24. I just got to say that. All right. Those are our hot takes for the list. We're going to move on from that. The list is so goddamn big that we can just spend so much more time on it. But we have other things to talk about, surprisingly enough. Jrue Holiday got a lot of money. Sam, is it worth it? $160 million for 4 years?
I'm okay with the deal. I think there's been like over the past 2 seasons, it's like Jrue Holiday is the game changer for any team who gets him. And it's like, yeah, that was good 2 years ago, but there is somewhat of a decline. And I think his role is more ball dominant. And I think that's why I didn't work with AD as much, because they're both ball dominant in that case. But I think Milwaukee has to give the deal because it's really hard to attract people to Milwaukee. Unless you're PJ Tucker, you're Jeff Teague, people who just want an opportunity to be on a championship contender team. So I'm not mad with this deal, but I can see why it could be pretty questionable.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to switch it to the person who isn't on the opposite side of Texas, because I know how Sam feels about DeMar DeRozan. I know he's a fan. John, DeMar DeRozan to test free agency. Is he going to pass?
Is he going to pass? Someone's going to pay DeMar DeRozan money. Yeah. I think he's really everyone likes to talk about how he's become very underrated after maybe he was a bit overrated at a certain point in his career. And I think that's true. I think he is a little underrated now. He's become such a good facilitator. He's still a very good scorer. Someone could use him. I don't know really what the best fit is, but he's a good player, and he's going to probably get a decent contract. I doubt he will be a Spur. That's where I live. Yeah.
We'll just go to the Brooklyn Nets, like every other player.
No. When in doubt, go to Miami, right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
He's the number one. Oh, no, even better, the Boston Celtics, who are always the number one contender, and then not pick up anyone. So,
It's a lot of bullshit that they're saying. Guys, this is a really depressing one. I'm not going to lie. James Wiseman most likely is out for this season. I believe it was a meniscus tear. Dude, you hate to see it, man. I was so excited to see what else James Wiseman has in his tank. Unfortunately, this kind of shit is going to keep you on the bench for quite a bit. Kevin, how are we feeling about this? Obviously, it's pretty painful to see, but it could have been much worse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, pour one out, but I think he's in a good spot where he got a lot of playing time this year, I think, and he got a lot of experience. And I think it's just a matter of seeing how well he brushes this off and how he comes back next year, or next season. Like, if he can take it and learn from it, I think there's a lot of room for him to grow. So I'm excited to see more of him in the future. But yeah, it sucks for now.
Really quickly, just out of curiosity, since we were just talking about that top under 25 list, would you rather have James Wiseman in there or Anthony Edwards? Because that was interesting. I saw Anthony Edwards. He was pretty. I think he was a little bit higher in that list. So
James Wiseman's looked a little rough.
Okay.
But I don't. It's just hard to be a big man in a system like that as a rookie. Like,
put him on the Wizards. Like, I think he's gonna have a great season. Like, to be honest, because they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. And he'll be the only one that can play defense. To be honest, so
fair, very true.
But I think I'd rather have Edwards at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it's not just a hype. It's not just a phase. It actually looks like he's doing well. It's not a phase, Mom.
I mean, he's just allowed to shoot like 25 times a game, but like it's still like it's still interesting. He still has some moments that are like, whoa, but he's not like, I don't know. He's still like a rookie. He makes dumb mistakes and like he's not the most efficient player.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Just looking at our mock draft that we had done, Kevin has selected Anthony Edwards at number 5. The amount of disrespect we gave this man was kind of unreal.
None of us were like, we were all like, man, who fucking cares about Anthony Edwards? Yeah, right. we had some wild takes to start the year.
Yes, we did, and that's always great to have. Guys, Cousins signs with the Clippers. Do we care? I don't really care.
Is it the new Wash King? Is it the new Wash King? Because Blake Griffin's alive again, and Aldridge is alive. I don't know. I feel like Cousins can actually not play in the NBA anymore.
Yeah. I don't really have hope for it's really unfortunate. Like, honestly, the potential that he had to finish out his season and his career, just injury after injury, really fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna look at this really quick. Ben McLemore to the Lakers. Kevin, are you? How do you feel about this? Like, does this mean anything to you?
I mean, it's something for the Lakers to add to their team, like someone who can shoot relatively well on their team while LeBron and AD are out, and they need some offensive help clearly while their two best scorers are out. So it helps them, but it's not. I don't think it's anything that's gonna really push them over the edge for like the playoffs or something. And once LeBron and AD are back, I don't think McLemore is going to have a big impact on the team. But that's just me.
Sure. All right. I'm going to skip ahead really quickly. A-Rod bought the Timberwolves. So I don't know what we see in that future, honestly.
It can't be any worse.
Exactly.
I think there's optimism with A-Rod. I mean, like, maybe he has a deal with some steroids, you know? He's got super
maybe he moves the team to Seattle. Who knows? Much better idea, in my opinion. I think that'd be great. We're going to go look at the playoff matchups as of now. We're going to just run through this really quickly, and then we'll have our game of the week. So in the Eastern Conference, we have the Brooklyn Nets at number 1. We have the 76ers, number 2, Milwaukee Bucks, number 4, Charlotte Hornets, then the Atlanta Hawks, Heat, Celtics, Knicks at number 8. And then we have the Pacers, the Bulls, and the Toronto Raptors on the that's the play-in, correct?
Yep, at least the last two.
I think the Raptors are just outside of the play-in game.
Do we... Any hot takes for this one, boys? I'm just going to come right out and say it. Any hot takes?
Let's see.
I'm personally okay with 1 through 8 as of right now being the ones that move forward.
Okay.
I do have doubts with Pacers. Chicago could maybe steal it, but it is 2 games, so I'm not sure if they could. If they have to play the Celtics, it could be kind of concerning in that standpoint. But I'm okay running with 1 through 8.
The Celtics are pretty bad. I don't know. I don't know, man.
have a feeling the Hornets will fall a couple seeds at least, just because they're missing both Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball right now. So I would be surprised if they end the season there. I think that, if the seedings hold with Milwaukee and the Heat, that'll be interesting because I think they'll be playing each other round one. And the Bucks historically struggle with the Miami Heat. So that would be a really interesting one to start things off. I would be really excited to see that series.
Yeah.
I would agree. I would say the Nets probably have the easiest run in terms of who they get out of 8th and 4th. Like, I think the Knicks would be a fun matchup. Like, to be honest, I think that would actually be really fun. I would say it actually goes up in 5 or 6, but I mean, I think it's still going to be like, it's the Nets. We know they're going to outperform very well until maybe the Eastern Conference Finals. And I hope the right teams, quote unquote, the 76ers and Nets meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're still waiting for a Lakers Clippers, for a while. So, but I think we can all agree that for the most part, the Eastern Conference Finals will be Nets 76ers.
Yeah. Probably.
Bucks? You want to throw in the Bucks in there?
They're the only other team I'd even consider, but
yeah.
What about the Bucks? Come on, man.
No, get out. Okay. All right, let's go on to the Western Conference. We have the Utah Jazz at number 1, Phoenix Suns, Clippers, the Nuggets, Lakers. Lakers at number 5. All right, that's pretty wild. I'm not going to lie. Injuries, they suck. We have the Trailblazers. We have the Mavericks. There you go, John. Number 7 Mavericks. Let's go, baby. And then we have the Memphis Grizzlies at number 8. And in the play-in, we have the Spurs, the Warriors, Pelicans, the Kings, I guess, but that's never really going to amount to anything. Any hot takes for the Western Conference?
The Mavericks will not be in the play-in game. They will be a 6 seed. There you go.
Okay.
Portland has been riding high for too long. They don't truly, their defense is abysmal. They can't guard anybody, and it's really it's all about, is the game close? Okay, then Dame can win it. Is it not close? Okay, then it's over. Is Dame having a bad night? Sorry, you guys lose. I think the Mavericks, obviously, we know where I stand on them, but I would be surprised if they can't pass Portland with how they've been playing since the All-Star break. They're just a much better team right now. So I think they'll be a 6 seed, which would be a lot of fun because then we get Clippers and Mavericks again. And we saw, obviously the Clippers won that series, but we saw how fucking hard Luka balled out in that series. I think this team is better than it was last year now. And I think, that would be a lot of fun, especially because, it's a moment of okay, Clippers, do we trust you? I want the Clippers to have the hardest possible path to get to the finals, just because it's what they deserve. It's what they deserve. Yeah, they have a lot of demons to kill.
Yeah, but really though, especially Paul George, man, he's got to shine in this playoff series. Looking at this list, I would probably say obviously it's not really a hot take, but the Utah Jazz probably won't be a number 1 seed. Or at least they might not get. I mean, it depends. So right now, it looks like they're going against the Grizzlies. Do you guys think the Jazz beat the Grizzlies? I do.
Oh, easy.
Okay.
Well, I just don't even think the Grizzlies will make it. I think it'd be the Spurs or I probably want to be the Spurs. Well, it'd have to be the Spurs. Yeah, well, let's put my Spurs in there. If the Warriors move up, the Warriors will make it.
Yeah, so the Utah Jazz
beats every single team that they would be up against in the play-in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think any of those teams have a chance.
That's totally
Pelicans. Were the Pelicans going to make the playoffs, guys? What was that again? I thought you guys were going to make the playoffs. Pretty easy, not a play-in game is what I heard last time. Exactly. Slow down now. Pelicans are not good. Gundy needs to be fired because he doesn't know how to actually coach a team anymore. Because just saying, when you go into commentating, you think you know the game really well, but you know the game as a commentator, not as a coach. And your old methods don't really work well, except for Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau's the only one that broke the mold because he only showed up once, and he's a goddamn genius.
I love that Sam has to add his 2 cents for anything Knicks related. He just needs to throw that in there just so that he can stand on his horse.
Hey, I'm telling you, my takes are hot, but they are correct. Okay, I'm telling you this. The Hawks. Okay, I know they're 3rd seed, 4th seed, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Denver, a little concerned with the Lakers. We talked a little bit off camera about it. Especially if the Lakers get everyone back, plus adding Drummond to that, it could be pretty concerning. Just the amount of damage that Jokic has to take, because we all know Jokic is the only reason that this team is really moving. Like, he has the support pieces, but we know, Kevin, you know in your fantasy, you know why you stacking points right now, because that guy's dropping 70 points in fantasy, and I mean, it's going to be the MVP most likely.
All I'm saying is that the Nuggets with Aaron Gordon are like, what, 8-0 or something like that? Like, that's pretty wild.
Aaron Gordon is huge for them.
Yeah,
and I would love it. Like, for entertainment purposes, I think the Nuggets-Lakers first-round series would be pretty exciting. I don't think that the Nuggets would win, though, and that's where it would be sad. It's like, because if you're going to win the MVP, you just got to make it to the second round.
Yeah, that's true. So why don't we get into the game of the week? We have Philadelphia versus the Clippers. Like we said, the Clippers have a lot to prove. I think I've said this last year, too, when Kawhi got into the team. I was super hyped at the start. And then towards the end of the season, it was just like, yeah, they're good, but I just have no interest in watching them anymore. Like, they're kind of like the most boring, like, hyped up team in the world, which is just the weirdest thing to say. Why don't we go around the podcast and say our thoughts on this game, who's going to win, MVP, and all that good stuff. Kevin?
Sixers are going to win.
Yeah, that was fast. That was so fast.
I can't hype anything about the Clippers ever. Paul George is going to go 0 for 13.
Oh, my God.
No, I'm just giving him shit. I mean, I got to imagine Joel Embiid's going to be the MVP of the game and be that guy that just obliterates the Clippers. Because I don't know who's going to guard him on the Clippers, but... But yeah, I think Sixers by 10. Let's say 10.
Interesting. John?
Okay, so Kevin, you picked the Sixers.
Yep.
Okay, Sixers by 10. Then I will go with the Clippers. I think the Clippers will win because I don't know. They've been really good. They're 8 of 10 in their last 10 games. They have, I think, the same record as the Sixers, actually, which is just, again, like these fucking conferences. But so I'm gonna pick the Clippers, and I'm gonna say that Kawhi will be the MVP again. Probably not that shocking, but it's Kawhi Leonard, and I think that. Did you give a point? Did you say an over/under, Matt?
No, I didn't. Why don't you give the over/under?
Okay.
Give me a point.
Let's see. So, and they get it. Okay, so we'll do 230.
Interesting. Okay, I might go over. I might go over on that.
I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna and I think, yeah, I don't know. The Sixers have been kind of sputtering a little bit lately, so I just think that the Clippers are hot, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to say the Clippers got it, and I'm going to say they'll win by, 6.
Okay, sure. Sam?
I'm going to take Philly in this one. I think Ben Simmons is going to be an interesting factor just because the way he can shut down really any position. And I think it may not be Kawhi, but I think he can shut down like Paul George. It's going to be very detrimental. We all know Kawhi's knees. He's got none anymore. Needs to put some WD-40 in those now, the Terminator. But I think this game will go below 230 as well. I think just with the defensive presence on both sides. I'm not sure if either side will be comfortable taking, good quality shots. But I think Philly's going to get it in the bag, I think, by at least 14.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty. Okay, so that's the highest one so far. Over, under 230.
I'll go under.
Okay. I totally understand, because these two teams aren't, the most high-scoring teams, but, they're just very efficient in general. Like both teams' defense is really good. Both teams' offense is really solid. So it's like, yeah, who knows? I'll take the over, but like just barely the over. I wanted to go with Philadelphia. I did. But the thing that makes me nervous about Philadelphia is it how has Embiid been playing, John?
Hey, he's good. He had a little like tiny scare in one of the games he came back in, but it was fine. So he's good. He's pretty much all good to go, I think. Yeah.
Philadelphia, and the main reason is for the smoke on Paul George, but also for the smoke on Rajon Rondo. I have absolutely no respect for him being on the Clippers team right now. Have you seen the meme really quickly? Have you seen the meme of Rajon Rondo in the Clippers jersey and he has like a watch on his wrist and it's just like a picture of like LeBron on it, and you see like go to like the next page of LeBron, just be like, hey, can you hear me, Rondo? Can you hear me, Rondo? He's like, yeah, I hear you loud and clear, LeBron. Rondo's just gonna be so bad. I still will never understand that trade. I won't. I'll take Philly, but just barely. I'll have Philly by like 3 points. That's going to be a really fucking close game, I think. So we'll see what happens. I think Embiid is obviously the MVP for Philadelphia, and I do think that Kawhi would be the one to really step up for the Clippers, obviously. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. This has been the Deep 3 podcast. You guys can find us on Instagram, on Twitter at the Deep 3 Pod, as well as email us any questions at our email at the deep3pod@gmail.com. And you find us on Spotify and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, comment hateful things to us. We live for it because we have nothing else better to do in our lives. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Peace.
I was not prepared.